bundle of news in an imaginary court. One time, these courts, the surroundings you see here, were indeed pretty real. People actually believed there was justice, and there was, to a certain degree, a certain amount of justice. But the fictional courts, as we call them today, or the kangaroo courts, or the old days a star chamber, they've removed all aspects of the term justice. Our politicians, which we've seen in an earlier video, are all completely corrupt. Now that can be seen on reasonable grounds here in this court, that they are corrupt on reasonable grounds. Because they've removed the Queen from the justice. So if I was a magistrate, I wouldn't have to take an oath of allegiance to anyone, because the justice system, as they call it, is a private corporation. One time, Queen Elizabeth II, that's in 1-1, her heirs and successors, the justice, the magistrates, the barristers, the solicitors took an oath of allegiance. So therefore they were invested with some power. Now, they have nothing. They're criminals. Now that's a big statement to say, because there are decent people among them as well. All organisations have good people. Sadly, the majority of them now are pretty rotten. So what we're going to do today from this bench, we're going to start talking about their grammar, their Syntex grammar, the documents they send to you and they want you to believe they're real. So let's look at the health officer, the chief health officer, which is pronoun, adjective, adjunctive, rubbish, written by a 5-year-old child. We're going to go through that document and see exactly what it means when it's broken down into law. It's nothing, it's rubbish. So let's go and have a look at that now. We'll go through step by step, and I will do my best now. I am an amateur. I am not a professional. So if you see mistakes in it, don't jump up and down and say, oh, there's a mistake. It's just one man trying to make a difference. And we all get together, we can make a difference. So let's go and have a look at that now, and we'll come back here later on and finish this off with a bit of luck. What we are looking at here is adverbs. An adverb is very, very interesting indeed, because it changes the following word. Let's just look down the side here and look for always. Now, always what? Always on time, always late. It changes the word. You're expecting something to change after that. And then we go down to back. Let's look at the word back. My back, your back, his back. I'll be back soon. It changes the word that's going to follow after that. Let's just pick another word. Furthermore. Furthermore, what? The next word is going to change the meaning of the whole sentence. It's like saying a pen. The pen. Hold up. A pen is a pen. But if you put the word an adverb before it, black. Now it changes the perception of that. It's a black pen or a blue pen. So the adverbs are very important. So other what? Other time, other place. Once upon a time. Here. It's going to change here what? His time, his name, his place. However, this is how it is. Indeed, it is correct. Outside, inside. These adverbs change the word what comes after them. So this is where we really started the documents, is where the words are changing. The whole concept of this is grammar now. At school you're taught one way, but in Syntex grammar you're taught a different way, and that's in dog Latin, removing the dog Latin, creating real verbs, real statements, right? So English pronouns. The most common one we come across in legal stuff is you. You are required. You. It means it's a no-no. You could apply to Mr. Fong Yu, a sheep, a female sheep. So the words that really, they're words you don't use unnecessarily. Anyway, we'll explain that when we have a look at legal documents. That's just a brief a brief look at pronouns. Common verbs in English: come, climb. Just have a quick look through these. Don't worry too much about them at the present. Not necessarily, right? Types of adverbs. So he said an adverb is going to change. She normally eats. See? It just changes the words that follow them. Well, now we have this document which hundreds and hundreds, thousands of people have been locked down unlawfully in their homes and were forced to wear masks. And it all comes from this innocent-looking document, which our private companies, such as the police force, actually believe they had a power to enforce. So let's just look at it and have a look at the adverbs and the adjectives and the color of law. So the whole thing is just so they started off this thing with directions here, which is 1. Now, rather than write down adjective, pronoun, verb, adjective, so on and so forth, we'll just put 1 in. So 1 will represent a correction. This first one is a pronoun, so it's a 4. Directions. We know the word directions. What does it really mean? You know, it's a pronoun. It's a no-no. It has no lawful. And the most common one we find in the fictional system or the maritime courts is you are guilty. You have been found guilty. You. That has many meanings. It could be Mr. Feng Yong Yu in China. It could be a sheep. It could be John Young Yu down the. It's just fiction. So let's just, that part of the document started off. It's now not looking very good for the rest. Okay, and then from. Now from is an adverb, and if you remember, it's a 1. And adverbs change the following word, right? From Dublin, from Ireland, from England, from Australia, right? It's from something. It's going to change the next word, right? Now we have chief health officer. Now I'm just going to write in the numbers what these actually means, right? They're adjectives. Now an adjective is something that changes again, but it's like we've all heard the term color of law. So chief health officer, so is this come from a reservation in the United States, cowboys and Indians? Is it the chief wearing the feathers? You know, it's just the color of, it's just color. The whole thing is color. And then we move across in. Anybody get a guess what in is? Well, in is an adverb, right? So it's going to change the next word, right? But the next word is concordance. Now, anything that starts with a vowel is a no contract. The last part of it is a verb. Could be seen on reasonable grounds to be a verb, but the ACC makes the thing no contract. So the top line, directions, from, an adverb, chief health officer. Well, you know, that's like pie in the sky. That's just the color of rubbish. In accordance, right? No contract. So this is not looking too good. So we go down here to the next one, with. Now, what is with? Declared state, sorry. Declared, oh, sorry, wait. Go back in accordance. Okay, we go down to the next word is with. Okay, so what the heck is with? With what? With milk and sugar? With tea and coffee? With a day off? It's a pronoun. It could be with anything. It's just, you know, it's just a word that should not be used. Emergency is the next one. Let's look at the word emergency. Where do we go here? Emergency. EM. And the rest of it is a 3. So it starts here. It means no contract for a start. Because the word with before it change this word here, right? It's a no contract word. The color of law again. It's coloring. It's just making the next word more an absolute rubbish. Now we go on this one here, power. Yeah, what is this? Electrical power, DC, AC. It's a pronoun. It's rubbish. It's just bad grammar. And it's just written by a 5-year-old child. If you didn't realize, you have to look into it.
on the outside looking at it, it's stating something. But if you look at the grammar aspect of it, it's stating in fact, it's stating nothing at all. Okay. So then we go to a rising. Now, is this smoke arising from the power or the fire? Or what is it arising? It's another pronoun. It's just more rubbish. From? Well, from where? From there, from over there, from Dublin, from Ireland, England, Australia. It's from something, so it's going to change the next word. So it is an adverb. So we give it a 1. Declared. Oh, this is definitely a very powerful word, declared. Okay. DC, no contract. It's also it's a tree. It's the color of law. So you can guess what it's from. It's just coloring. The color of law again. It's rubbish again. Then we go down here to the state of emergency. Now the state, what's the state of shock? The state of what? What kind of a state is it? Well, I can tell you, it's basically a pronoun again. It's rubbish. There's too many meanings for the term state. Off, well, off is an adverb, so it's going to change the next one. So we'll make that a 1. Emergency. Well, emergency. EM means no contract. So this whole thing, no contract, right? That top line there is just gobbledygook. And the sad thing about this, the people believed and the police believed that this was a lawful, well, in their term, a legal document that they could enforce, right? Now, stay at home directions. Let's look at the word stay. Well, we're going to call it a pronoun for a start, right? Stay. What are we actually saying? The dog, sit, stay, don't move, right? And then, of course, at has got to be an adverb because at is a word. And then it's got the next one, home. Well, let's make that a pronoun, or correction, an adjective, right? Now, an adjective, again, is the color. It's home could be pigeon, homing, pigeon, homes, the cat's home, the dog's home. It has got so many connotations. So it's coloring the next word. So it's just a color of stay at home is just more rubbish. And then, of course, we go to directions again. Remember, we saw directions up here at the top. We all know that's a pronoun. So it's about as useful as the proverbial. Not worth the paper it's written on, right? And then in here we have restricted area. Oh my goodness, this really got to frighten the people, right, and give power to the enforcers, right? But it's in brackets. It's got nothing to do with the rest of it. There's no continuance. It's in brackets. It means diddly squat, restricted area. And if you look at the word restricted, actually, RES means no contract. Areas again, pronouns. It's all rubbish. Absolute rubbish. It's just goes on and on. But anyway, I'll have to stop there now because there's lots more we can go along with, and I will do a little bit more if you're interested. Please let me know, because I've been talking to myself here on the screen is rather boring. I should go live, and I want to go live and talk about some of these things, but I don't know whether anybody's even interested. Anyway, let's move on.
Well, from this imaginary court, thank you very much for watching. I hope that little bit of Syntex grammar was helpful and useful. I will at a later stage show you how to put the paperwork into this fictional court. So if I was a magistrate, I'd look at it and say, well, there is no case to answer, as happened in America, where a convicted criminal with a history, came to break and enter. He took his school teacher to the school instead of a barrister or a solicitor or an attorney, as they call them in America. And the teacher said, this man has not been charged with anything. And she had a look at the grammar, and guess what? The judge said, you're right, ma'am, the case dismissed. Anyway, London News sign off. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and we'll catch you all again soon. Bye for now.